Welcome to Maker.io, and in this episode we're going to briefly talk about testing projects. When building projects, it's absolutely crucial that you can test them, and there are a number of ways in which you can do this. Now, normally in things like applications for Windows, or if you're writing it in C++ and stuff, you tend to have a lot of debugging tools available, so it's quite easy to test these projects. You can stop the code in a certain point in your program and you can go line by line and see how the program and the variables behave. But things like the Arduino don't really provide strong debugging tools, so that you have to find ways to get around this. Now, on the Arduino there are two ways in which you can actually debug your programs. The first way is to create testing functions, and the second way is to use something like a serial port. So testing functions are quite simple. Essentially, you create a testing function whose only purpose is to test something. So let's take a simple example. Let's suppose you create a function whose only job is to encrypt some numbers. So the best way to test this function would be to encrypt some known value and then decrypt that encrypted value and then compare that with the original value to see if they're the same. And if they are the same, then you know your system's working. And that is one way for testing functions. So your testing function has a bunch of inputs, and it puts these inputs into some function that you are currently building or wanting to test to see if it works, and then some known outputs, or at least what the outputs should be. And if they're not the same, or if the output is not what you're expecting, then you know your function's not working. So that is one way in which you can actually test your projects without needing special debugging tools or hardware. Another way of testing things on the Arduino is to use the serial port, and the serial port can be a lifesaver. So all you need to do to make this work is simply have your Arduino put some data out at certain points in your program. So let's say you're getting to a part of the program which you want to test. All you have to do is just tell the Arduino, just print out some data or the current values of these variables, and then you can use the serial monitor as a debugger, or at least as a watch window, so you can see how variables are changing in real time. But just remember, you are limited on the rate at which you can use the serial port, and by using the serial port you will slow down your system. So there's two simple ways which you can test your Arduino projects without needing any kind of debugging hardware. Thank you for watching this video. See you next time.